with Stevie, Gary and Chris, and we're just going to walk through how the engineer would add the photos for Camera Smart installation. So I'm just going to navigate to the desk-based version of the Nexus app. So this is what the engineer would see when they're greeted with the home page in their mobile app. And all they need to do is go into My Jobs and Load Jobs. So this is the test one that we've allocated to the test engineer. They simply click on the job, and this will give them everything that they need to include in the installation. So these are the job details, who the customer and what the vehicle is. So the first point here, we have the vehicle pre-install check, and we have already added a photo for this one, just as a test. So for this is going to be the full vehicle photo. The reason we do this is to make sure that we have the right registration for the right install. So as we can see on this one, this is going to be equivalent transport, and we'll be able to get the registration off here. The next photo that the engineer needs to install then is the cab condition. So for this, they go to add photo, and we have them all saved here under a file. So we're just looking then for the cab photo for the installation. So there we are there. As I say, the reason we take then the cab condition is to make sure that everything is right in the vehicle before we start the install, and there's no
damage, no damage, that's not as is when we finish the vehicle.
Yeah. Then the next photo, as I say, is the dashboard photo. I'll just get this from our files. So this is the dashboard before the installation, and again, the same reason, making sure there's no warning lights on it, or if there's anything there that needs to be flagged to the customer before we do the install on the vehicle. With every step of the way, we also have the opportunity for an extra photo. So for the example that they did have something, maybe a warning light, or if there's something impeding them from doing their job, they can always
Crack the screen would be a perfect example for the forward facing camera.
Exactly.
If the screen's cracked, then they have to take the camera back off to replace the windscreen. So
Yes.
One
of those things to consider for the install. And anything again related to the install, whether it be a cracked windscreen, they can add in the notes related to the job there. So then the next requirement for them, as you see, if you complete all the photos, it goes green, showing you've covered all the required fields. So the next one we have is the device serial number. And again, we're just going to go through and add the photo. And the reason for, similar to the vehicle photo, is so we know that this is the correct DVR in that vehicle. So this is the picture of the DVR unit itself. As I say, clearly shows then the label and the device serial number. The DVR power supply then will be another photo. Gary, you might be able to better explain this.
Yeah, this is showing the rear of a fuse board in the equivalent volts that we've got earlier on there, and it's showing the power pickup points that the engineer has gone to for the supply to the DVR. And
Gary, do they have a specific power pickup for every vehicle, or is that
in most specific vehicles, especially in the likes of the Volvo, there's a sub fuse board below a fuse board where they would be picking powers up. Typically, most vehicles will have what's known as an FMS plug, it's a fleet management system plug, as the relevant power supply inputs for other equipment such as tracking, DVRs, guide scans, and what have you. So, yeah, most vehicles do come with this.
2 days. So the next photo then is where the DVR is mounted itself. Obviously, we want to make sure that the DVR is mounted, it's not impeding the likes of the passenger side or any kind of movement of the vehicle itself. So DVR installation location for this one, just have them look albeit blurry, should be mounted there without any impeding to any other bits of the vehicle. Would there be any other reason there today on DVR mounting that they would have?
Well, typically vehicles are that's behind the passenger seat. That's a typical location of the DVR units because there's no traffic. There's nobody walking through that area. There's nothing getting thrown in behind there. Another option then is, if it's a high-rise cab, is to put it in the locker assembly up top.
Yeah.
But basically, it's the least unobtrusive place to put the DVR where it's not going to get banged or
And to be fair, as it says there, making sure that the USB port's acceptable. This would be for the likes of manual download, or upgrade of firmware or something to the effect of that one then. And then they also need a photo of the front of the lights. So this is basically to confirm that all lights are working. They have GPS, they have GSM, and they're able to have power recording on it. So this is the front of the unit showing all the lights there. Again, albeit blurry, you should be able to differentiate between what's on and what's off on the photo itself, just per resolution of the desktop app. And then on this as well, a back photo of the DVR, so we're looking for the likes of the camera cable, if the GPS and GSM antennas are there, and any I/O ports are there clearly as well. So just from our list of photos, we're looking for the back. See.
DVR power supply. It wasn't correct, that's here. Again, that's just to describe their data, making sure all the cables are the correct ports, GSM, GPS is correct, and all camera ports that are being utilised on the vehicle are used on the DVR.
And I take it today would ideally like all the things to be nice and neatly tied, cable tied.
Cable tied or loom tape or split conduit, anything just so to minimise the busyness of cables at the back of the DVR, so it looks a nice clean installation.
So yeah, happy days. And then again, we're going a wee bit more in depth here, where we're seeing the cables in the back of the DVR. We're looking for where the antenna is positioned, because again, better position of an antenna leads to better GPS and GSM. So just finding the photo for this one. And for this was the GPS antenna.
It's actually on the DVR itself there, yeah.
It is. So this photo was to say the DVR, the engineers assumed this to be where the GSM or GPS antenna was installed, where we would prefer to see where the actual puck or.
Yeah, in my ideal situation, the GPS puck is on the
Underside of the dashboard, pointing out towards the sky, the top part of the puck pointing out towards the sky, i.e. just looking out the window more or less.
And then we're into the likes of how many cameras we want to install. So for this one, I believe we did, let me see, this gives you all options for 8. I believe this order only had a select few, but we'll go through them and add the photos anyway. So all files. And for this order, it was only put through as 4, so we can complete 4 of these install photos. So this is a photo of camera 1, shown mount on the offside of the vehicle there. And again, you'd obviously want the best sort of angle. You should be checking on the monitor to make sure you're getting all the view, that you're not getting too much of the truck, nor you're getting too much of the road. On camera 2 installation then.
It's basically a mirror onto camera 1.
It is indeed, same thing applies there. That's the driver's side, making sure you're getting as best a view of the blind spot and side of the vehicle. Camera 3 then.
Be forward facing.
You're right indeed, G'day. So again, you don't want to be capturing any of the dash or the hood or anything like that. You want to get the optimized viewing level of it.
Yeah, so it's dash hood and wiper lines is another one to watch out for. Some of the wipers are sitting dormant, can be right in front
Getcha.
of the
That one looks quite good to me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of every kind of line there. And camera 4 should be the last one for this install. This seems to be a rear, so this would be low rear of the vehicle. We can have the options for high rear, internal, whatever it may be, you know. And it should hopefully let us solve this off here. Let me just double check. It is indeed. So we've got all the required fields in for the DVR8 channel then. Again, all the photos have been greened off, so that's good. And while the engineer's obviously doing this, ideally they should be taking the photo at the point of install, uploading it, just making sure they do it as it comes. And then lastly then for the DVR installation, we have the post-install checking. So the instrument cluster will just get the photo of this. Files.
dashboard post installation down the bottom or top. Disco.
Again, we're just making sure that after the install, that there's no further warning lights, there's no difference in the dashboard, make sure there's nothing flagging on the vehicle. As I say, it will be then blamed on the third-party equipment sort of thing. And a photo of the end cab as well. So
Again.
post-install.
Yeah, just to show that we have everything in a tidy manner.
Yeah. No footprints or any tools left behind or any cable clippings or anything like that. Post-installation, so there we are there, we're nice and clean. And exterior, although it's not a requirement for this, we will add it in anyway. So this is again, just confirming that everything's left as it was with the vehicles was before. Yeah. We are there. And of course, any additional photos. So we want to check there if there's anything, a hiccup, maybe some screws left from a previous install, whatever it may be. Anything at the engineer's discretion, really. And with this as well, the engineer should be able to run the test app. So they want to confirm the likes of if there is a GPS signal, if the DVR is online. With this, we don't actually have a DVR associated to it, but we can show how they run a test So they would drop down to the device type being a DVR, and with this, we'll just enter in a random DVR ID, so 10010 and test.
10019.
Here we are here, so this is a test DVR unit that we have. You can see what the reg is and who it's associated to, where the address is. And ideally, the engineer would want to get in everything for the DVR side of things. So we want to see that there's an ignition on, the device itself is online, the GSM or mobile signals working, and the hard drive's working to its full extent. Any issues with this, the engineer should then go and triage and make sure that they can get a green tick on everything, you know. So I'm just going to exit out of that because we don't actually want to test it at the moment. So the engineers went through and completed all the install checks. They've done they've done the unit testing, and they've done the post-installation tests. Again, maybe at the end, the general notes, the engineer can stipulate if there was an issue getting to a certain part of the vehicle. They can give us anything they really want.
Yeah, it's the range, it was changed, it's on temporary range, you know, any of those, no number plates fitted to this vehicle at that time, you know, any of the sort of stuff that we need to know for future amendments.
Yep. And this was a new install, they won't need to select this, but they do have the option to say if the job was chargeable, maybe there was a service call, it was tampering with the vehicle, whatever it may be. And what they would want to do then is save and send. They can save for later if they get to one of these steps and maybe think that they need to revisit or they haven't got the time to complete the full install. But ideally, they want to do it in one file swip. So they save and send, and this will give confirmation in the outbox. Once they get good signal, that one will clear out and they'll send through to the telematics team to do the testing. I think that's all she really wrote in on that side of things.
Yep.
Yes. And I'll just stop the recording now.